Welcome to part 2 of Ollie and Odis the tutorial. So we left off just about to do our color change, so grab the darker colored yarn in your kit. There is a dark brown and a lighter brown. Just grab whichever one you want to use first. And performing a color change is super easy, so all you're going to do is pop your hook back into those 2 loops. And all you're doing is pulling the darker colored yarn through those 2 loops on your hook to finish the single crochet that we started. And this will leave you with a pretty loose single crochet, but don't worry, we are going to tighten it, just not quite yet. So you can remove your stitch marker and then place your first single crochet of the round in the darker colored yarn. So that's the first single crochet. And now that we have that done, we can tighten up that single crochet with the color change. So all you're going to do is pull on the strings, not too hard, just gently, and then we're going to double knot them. And again, don't double knot them too tight, but just knot them enough so that they're secure and they don't come undone. And then I like to trim mine just to make things a little bit easier to work with. And that's all there is to a color change. So now that darker colored yarn marks the first stitch of the next round, I'm still going to use my stitch marker to mark it. And we are on round 10. So for round 10, we are just single crocheting in each stitch around in the darker color. No increasing or anything. We're going to have 30 single crochets at the end of this round. So coming up on the end of round 10, for the next 5 rounds, we are actually going to be doing the exact same thing that we just did. So I'm going to show you how to count your rounds in case you lose track. But basically you can see here that each round is separated by little horizontal lines. This is round 1, 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to speed up the next 5 rounds because it's the exact same thing that we've been doing and what we just did. It's just 30 single crochets in each stitch around, and just don't forget to mark the beginning of each round with the stitch marker. And if you lose track of what round you're on, all you have to do is count the rounds. So when you're done this part of the otter, you should be on round 15, and that's going to be 5 rounds of just a single crochet in each stitch around. We're coming up on the last few stitches of round 15, and now we can place the otter's eyeballs in. So your body should be looking something like this. And then you can grab your safety eyes from your Yarny Box kit. This is what they look like. So grab the 2 black eyes and we are going to place them into rounds 7 and 8 of the otter. And just make sure you're doing it on the opposite side of your color change. So I like to center my color change on the back of the otter. So I'm placing my eyes directly opposite of that. And count down 7 rows. So placing it right in there. You're just going to pop in your eyeballs. I like to put mine about 3 visible stitches apart. You can put them closer or further apart. Just keep in mind that we are going to be sewing on a white muzzle later on. So I find the best placement for the otter's eyes to be about 3 stitches apart here. And once you're happy with the placement, you can just pop the backs of the eyes on and they just click onto place. Now that your otter has some eyes, we can carry on to round 16. So remove your stitch marker, place your first single crochet of the round, and then mark this stitch. And now we are going to do another single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet, and now we're going to decrease. So decreasing is combining 2 stitches into 1 stitch. You can see here, this is the back loop and this is the front loop. Every stitch has 2 loops. We are going to be placing our hook in the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. And this is going to combine them together. So here we are going in the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. You can see they still have the back loop, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and then decrease. So again, front loop only of the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook here, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and decrease. Just keep repeating the pattern of 3 single crochets and then decrease until you get back to the stitch marker. This is going to take our crochet count from 30 stitches down to 24 stitches. So we're starting on round 17 here. Remove your stitch marker and place your first single crochet of the round. And then mark that stitch. You can see here that the otter body is starting to cave in on itself a little bit. That's exactly what we want. So single crochet and then make a decrease. Single crochet, single crochet, decrease. Single crochet, single crochet, decrease. And just keep repeating this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. We will have 18 stitches at the end of this round. Before we continue on to round 18, I'm just going to pause and stuff the otter. So grab your stuffing from your Yarny Box kit And pull the stuffing apart to make sure it's nice and fluffy and not all condensed. And then you're just going to plop it into the otter. Make sure when you're stuffing that you are really shaping out the shape of the otter with your fingers, just putting it through all the corners of the head. And that's going to help your otter have a nice round shape to the body. You don't want to stuff it too much right now because we still need to crochet the rest of the body, so we can add more stuffing as we go. So for round 18, we are going to make our first single crochet of the round and then mark that stitch. And then we are going to head straight into a decrease. Pattern of this round is single crochet, decrease. Single crochet and decrease. And just keep repeating this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. It can be a little tricky to get this round done because you do have stuffing. So just make sure that you're keeping your stitches nice and tight and go slowly if you need to. Round 19 is our very last round of the otter. You should have 12 stitches now after the previous round. And I'm just going to add in some more stuffing before we close up the otter. And again, just make sure you're really rounding out the body and putting the stuffing in all four corners of the bottom of the otter. For round 19, it's just 6 decreases, so we're going to start off by making a decrease. And then mark that stitch. And then just continue decreasing in every stitch around. So no single crochets here, only decreasing. I do apologize that I'm a little off screen here. Again, it's just pretty awkward to crochet while you've got stuffing in your project. But all we're doing here is decreasing in every stitch around. So now that we're done, we can remove our stitch marker and then we're going to trim the tail. I like to leave about 8 or 10 inches just to close off the otter. And then you're just gonna pull the yarn through and then grab your yarn needle and thread your tail onto that. To close off this hole, all you're gonna be doing is putting your yarn needle through the front loop of each one of these 6 stitches that are left. So just like this, going in the front loops of each one of these stitches. This is going to create a drawstring effect. And then once you've done that, all you have to do is pull that and it'll close the hole shut. To weave in my end, I'm just going to poke the yarn back through the body and then I'm just going to weave it a couple times just so that it doesn't come unraveled. And then you can trim that off. And in part 3, I'm going to show you how to do the otter's ears, arms, and tail.